chocolate is by far one of the most widely known sweets or confections in the entire world, and it comes in all sorts of shapes and sizes. You got milk chocolate, dark chocolate, red chocolate, blue chocolate, white chocolate. Basically, chocolate doesn't see color, but it does see child labor. Jokes. It kind of. With all the joy and happiness that this confection brings in the world, it sure does come with a few problems too. Now, we're not going to dive into all of them today, but we are going to talk about the things you don't know about chocolate. Hi, my name's Obina, aka the Africa Explainer. Now, when I say that chocolate is one of the most globally well-known confections in the world, I'm not joking. Confections are a real word. Yeah, according to the dictionary, confections are, and I quote, an elaborate sweet dish or delicacy. Around 7.3 million tons of chocolate are produced every year. Now, for comparison, the Airbus A380, in terms of passenger capacity and overall size, is known for being the largest commercial passenger aircraft in the entire world. You would need 13,000 of them at full capacity. That's 555 passengers each to equal the weight of that much chocolate. And I know what you're thinking. Who possibly is to blame? Who obese, obsessed, chocolate-hungry mongerer is to blame for this huge, massive weight and girth of chocolate in the world? Switzerland. Yeah, who are you thinking of? Yeah, who are you thinking of? Now, I feel like I could end the video right there and say that the Swiss are to blame for the high cholesterols all around the world, yeah? But now the story gets deeper. So the main ingredient of chocolate, when you take out the sugar, is actually cocoa, or coca, or cocoa is a product of beans harvested from the cocoa tree. What happens is farmers climb up these cocoa trees and retrieve these pods. Within each pod there are around 50 cocoa beans within them. Now, there are 4.5 million cocoa farms in the entire world. Can you guess which country produces the most cocoa? Well, this is the Africa Explainer, so hopefully that narrows down the list, but the answer is the Ivory Coast. They produce 40% of the world's cocoa. So they produce this by far and wide the most out of all countries. They are followed by Ghana and Indonesia, but the gap is large. It's times like this where we need to kind of go back and reflect on how such a small plot of land in the entire world feeds our population. It kind of feels like the Ivory Coast are the pen cap of chocolate production. Very small but very vital, and we all seem to forget it until our pen dries up. But why should I care? Great question. Well, there are a number of issues that actually come up when you look at the production of chocolate. This is not an extensive list, but it's not limited to deforestation due to the over-farming of cocoa to the global demand for chocolate. We could talk about how the crazy high demand of chocolate around the world leads to bad farming practices, such as monoculture systems where farmers force single crops to grow in the same soil all year round, which is not healthy for the soil and leads to soil erosion and ecosystem degradation. But in this case, I want to talk about an oldie but a not so goodie, child labor. Now, you may have watched my previous video on cobalt mining in the Congo. Well, the issue is not just limited to mining. It is estimated that the chocolate supply relies on over 1 million child laborers, according to the Food Empowerment Project. Now, if you did geography like I did for your GCSEs or IB, you may be wondering, wait, aren't there organizations like the Fair Trade out there? What are they doing to stop this? For those who don't know, the Fair Trade organization or movement essentially goes back as far as 1992. And they were established with the idea to help producers in low-income countries achieve both sustainable and equitable trading environments, which does include prohibiting child labor. The issue here is that, like we said before, there are 4.5 million cocoa farms in the entire world, and this is a single organization. how are they going to go about enforcing this? Like, let's be real. There are teachers in classrooms with kids of 20 to 30 and they can barely keep them quiet. So how on earth is a single organization going to manage to handle that many farms and keep them to the rule of law all year round? So needless to say, the solution hasn't worked very well and doesn't get to the crux of the issue, which is that farmers don't get paid enough to keep up production. Cocoa makes around 15% of the Ivorian GDP, but farmers get 1,000 West African francs. This is the equivalent of 1.65 USD or 1.3 GBP per kilogram. And sources say this equates to 2.73 euros, just to give you some more points of reference. These are family farms, single individuals and families producing this cocoa. This is not enough money for a single individual to live off of, let alone an entire family. So of course child traffickers are going around collecting children and bringing them to farms for cheap, aka free labor. And you can bet at the end of this, the child's not getting a cent, let alone the family of the child. Okay. As always, this is a deep and to some extent a troubling issue. And this problem is nowhere near an easy one to solve. But you can hopefully see that policy is nowhere near enough to solve the problem. It's a question of how do we better enforce the distribution of wealth of a multi-billion dollar industry to ensure that people at the end of the pipeline get their profits, as well as the people at the beginning and the farmers also get what they deserve. I'm not sure of a surefire way to solve this, to be honest with you, because the truth is people are going to eat chocolate. You know what I mean? I'm in love with the cocoa. We could put pictures of children on the front of packages to get people to maybe deter them from eating the chocolate, but if we're honest, that's probably going to stop like maybe 2% of people. And if I'm honest, I barely read the packaging on chocolate that I get as well. In this case though, I think there's a reframing of the problem that can happen. Rather than thinking of putting a stop to what's currently happening, let's think of it as an investment opportunity. There are companies out there such as Tony's Chocolonely, which work to ensure that the production of their goods is as sweet as the confection that we know and love. If we can invest and find more of these companies that hopefully, if they're locally found and locally produced, that's even better, that do this work, I think we can make a larger and more measurable impact both in the purchasing of the goods as well as in the production of them. Through doing this, we can be the sort of consumer that puts their money where their mouth is and bites into the pie of progress before it is choco late. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. If you think I'm waffling and far off, then please tell me in the comments. But also, if you have any additions or any companies that you know that you think could help towards this problem, please also comment below. I'd love to start a conversation there. As always, my name's Obina. This is the Africa Explainer. Have a great day.